Hi, my name is Chinmaya, and I'm actually quite excited to tell you my game plan. Before we get into the meat of the details, why not introduce myself a little bit? So this is me, and I'm wearing this outfit, and I'm actually supposed to go for a scientific conference. But what I really like about this outfit is how it gives this impression of being, somewhat conventional, boring, low energy. But if you actually look inside of the t-shirt I'm wearing, it's an Affliction t-shirt, and that is the kind of rock star kind of style. And the thing that I'm trying to portray is how on the outside I'm kind of quite a different person than who I am on the inside. And this inside Chinmay is someone who is a privilege to know, and I think only my good friends actually know what's on the inside, and I'm actually inviting you to discover that. My journey as an NRI. I was born in Mumbai about 22 years ago, and in the matter of a couple of months I was actually airlifted and thrown into a flat in Singapore. Ever since then I've been educated, conscripted in the army, and I'm in the process of getting my degree right here in Singapore, and it's quite a journey that I'll share about later on in the video. Now, as an NRI, there have actually been a couple of landmarks that have shaped my thinking, and these have actually been a lot more recent because when you're a kid, you tend to follow your parents wherever they go. They don't take you to places that they don't feel like going. But sometime around in 2007, I actually managed to get a bit of leave, and we came down to Mumbai, somewhere in the middle of the year to catch the Ganesh Utsav. This is one festival where the streets of Mumbai are literally charged. There are all these people, they're singing, they're dancing. There's this energy in the streets that's just infectious, and that was actually one of these events that actually started giving India a lot more character in my perception. The next event was in 2008, and this was the notorious Mumbai terror attacks. And this was slightly different, a bit more special in the sense because my mom was actually in Mumbai at the time of these attacks, and we had all these nasty thoughts, and you were like, should we actually go to Mumbai? Should we cancel our trip? Will we ever want to go back to that country anymore? But in a week or so, when the dust started to settle down, what really surprised us was how, despite the grieving and the mourning, Mumbai bounced back to its original splendor. And that was something that actually kept us going, and it's been the reason that has kept drawing us back to that country over and over again. The next year, in 2009, was when myself and a couple of friends, we decided to go on a Himalayan pilgrimage. We visited Uttarkashi, Haridwar, Rishikesh, the usual. But the reason this was interesting, particularly unexpected, was how it was a confluence of India's, natural and spiritual heritage. And it was very difficult to draw a line in between. So, even after we left the temples and all that, the pilgrimage through the mountains continued until somewhere around here where we reached Gomukh. This is a slightly different angle, so you don't get to see the beginning, the glacier that forms the Ganges River. This is basically some of the things that I'm concerned about, and I would like Dr. Manmohan Singh to address. A lot of these details are basically highlighted on my profile, which would be the best place for you to go and check it out. Now, I'm concerned about reservations, the kind of brain drain it causes, whether it's going to mean we have less experts, and whether the mechanism is open to abuse. I think that blasphemy laws, particularly hate speech laws, in India are very likely to be used for purposes other than the ones they were intended for. And these tend to unnecessarily curtail free speech and direct legal infrastructure which could otherwise have been put to better use. I definitely think security is important to the extent that I would feel it's almost like a basic human right to be able to walk in the streets without having to worry that a terrorist is going to shoot you down or you'll be robbed. And I believe the technology and the training is being already worked on. Perhaps the legal framework might have a bit of catching up to do. Now, I love India. In this picture, there's actually this statue. I believe it's of those Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan eras where the culture was to value these two arms of India, which was the farmer and the soldier, and they both had a special role to play. And this kind of leads on to my point. Let me redo that. I love India because of the history and the diversity. I think if you capture all of Indian thought from present to way back in the ancient times, it covers basically most of what world thinkers have been thinking about. And I think that makes it special, and as a result it means that India has a lot to contribute to the world and to learn from the world, of course. What's special about Indian music, apart from the usual Bollywood beats, which have their place? What really touches me is the classical aspect of it. Whenever I need a jolt of energy, I often listen to Zakir Hussein's tabla magic, and if I need a bit of inspiration, there's always Kabirji's dohas. And don't get me on about the food. We'll talk about Singapore. So this is my country. This is one of the spots in town where you see the Malayan, which is a national icon, and you see this little dome, which is a big art center, and then further on there are a couple of major commercial buildings. First and foremost, I think the infrastructure and the security is such a foundation for building a strong and robust society. I think without those two, it kind of means that there is still a lot of work to be done. And I think what I really value, though, is the education. Not so much the academics, but the kind of opportunities it has given me to interact with different kinds of people and to enrich myself in ways I would never have imagined. Now, something that a lot of people don't know about Singapore is that the Singapore passport is very much a gateway to the world at large, because it's one of those few passports where they either, if you visit a new country, they either give you a visa on arrival, or they don't even require a visa from you. And ever since I changed my citizenship, I've been traveling like mad to a lot of places. Now, if you aren't already convinced that you should vote for me to send me over, maybe you want to consider the fact that the way I've been raised, I've had the best of both worlds, from India and from Singapore. And one of the images that I think captures the Singapore spirit is that of like a swift deer who is very fast to respond to situations, who's very effective and efficient. And that of India is, well, some people think it's derogatory, but I think the elephant, there's a saying, there's the idea that elephants never forget, and I think in that aspect it represents India's long history, symbolic to an elephant's long memory. Now, my parents have raised me to be honest, to be caring, to be outspoken, which is actually one of the main reasons why I'm actually bothering to do this, because there are certain issues I believe need to be addressed, and I'm willing to raise my voice to talk about them in the right place. The other thing is that I've been enriched by a lot of the fields that I've been exposed to, throughout school and even outside school. And I think some of these influences are, philosophy, philosophical thought, science, scientific thought, not just technology, but the way scientists think, and the way their worldview shapes science. Now, sometime in high school, I started to learn close-up magic, the kind that magicians do, and that has been a very refreshing way of looking at the world, and that is actually a long discussion on its own. And of course, I've been very much overwhelmed by the love that my friends and my family has given me. So just to give you a glimpse, this is me, doing some magic tricks for a school event, and I think the guy over there is my professor, and we're all enjoying, having a good time. The next one is a couple of us as part of our philosophy club discussions where we're just chatting. We've talked about stuff all the way from fairy tales to religion to art and so forth. And lastly, I mean, even in one of the things that I value is how I've got the freedom to pursue my passions. And back in college where I'm doing medicine, it's funny how a casual conversation goes into some serious scientific discussion and then flings back to you know something else casual like a movie or music. And I have my friends and the college environment to thank for that. So before I sign off, I would like to thank my friends, my parents, my sister for supporting me despite a lot of their initial skepticism. I've had numerous teachers and mentors who have taught me valuable lessons in life. These are all the way from school to the military to even mutual friends whom I've had to learn a lot from. The funny thing about my friends is that I've got such a variety that I truly believe that if we picked out all our mutual friends, our friends in our network, that would mean like all 6.5 billion people in the world. Now, lastly, about the images, I think a lot of the Mumbai pictures were actually taken by my sister on a holiday, but there's this picture of the Taj Hotel, and I'd like to thank Nicholas, who's uploaded this picture to Wikipedia for allowing me to use it. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it.